Alright. You slide over a little bit, Doc. Alright, so I want to give all thanks and praises, all glory unto the Most High. AHAYAH, AHAYAH, Bahashim and Rawach, Qadash. We're getting into another study on this beautiful Shabbat, titled Less is More. You know, in this modern day, you know, everything is microwave. You know, people always like quick things, fast things, and you know, they believe that you know, patience runs short a lot of times. You know, a lot of times people look at the number of things, or you know, how great something is, as opposed to the quality of it. You know what I mean? And that matters more than quantity. You know what I mean? You know, and this study here, we're going to touch on just highlighting, you know, when the scriptures say that the Most High's way is higher than ours. It's in many different facets. You know what I mean? Many different ways. You know, and we are not in any position to question anything that the Most High set forward. Just know that anything that He's backing is coming forth with the utmost strength. You know, again, the title of this study is "Less is More," and you know, you gotta just look at the things that's going on right now. When we talk about things like Jacob's trouble, or you know, the kind of things that we hear about with like FEMA and all these other things, and you know, we know that, you know, scriptures talk about wars, when you hear rumors of wars and stuff like that. So a lot of times people looking at the kind of ammo these people got and how deep they are, and you know, how vast their military is and all kind of other stuff. But when you're talking about the army of the Most High, if you read the Old Testament, you'll see, man, you know, once the Most High is fighting for us, we can't lose, period. You know, and that goes with many different things. When we're talking about less is more, you know, it's better to have what they say, one in the hand is better than three in the bush. You know what I mean? You're over there chasing 3 chickens, but you got one in your hand. That one is more valuable than the 3 in the bush, because you might not even get those. You know what I'm saying? Just an example. You know, but this phrase spans out to a lot of different situations, a lot of different topics. So first, we're going to start off in Exodus 15 and 11. And, you know, we're going to let the Spirit move. Pray that edification goes forth. And, you know, we look at things from a different perspective as opposed to face value every time. So, yeah, Exodus 15 and 11.
The book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 11. Who is like unto thee, O higher power among the gods?
Mm-hmm.
Who is like thee, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders?
Okay. Who is like the Most High, right? None. So, you know, what we're going to look at is many different situations where the few in number was actually the most valuable portion. The few in number is actually what the Most High reverences as strength a lot of times, and we're going to highlight that. Give me 1 second. Let me get the apocrypha. We're going to go to Second Esdras 7 and 15. Second Esdras 7 and 15.
Reads as, Now, therefore, why disquietest thou thyself, seeing thou art but a corruptible man? And why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal?
Keep
15,
going.
28, okay.
We're going to read all the way down to verse 28.
Why hast thou not considered in thy mind this thing that is to come, rather than that which is present? Then answered I and said, O higher power, that bears rule, thou hast ordained in thy law that the righteous should inherit these things.
Right, the righteous, right? We know a lot of times when you look at how the world is operating, a lot of people don't want to seek out anything righteous, right? So that's already giving you the kind of balance that we're looking at. But go ahead.
But that the ungodly should perish. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things, and hope for wide, for that they have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. And he said unto me, There is no judge above AHAYAH, and none that hath understanding above the highest.
Right, so nobody's higher than the Most High. So, when you talk about things like the children of Israel, right, you look at Amos chapter 3, verse 2, he talks about he chose this people out of all the families of the earth. Right? So out of all of this vast number of people, he only chose one. Right? One family. Okay? But, again, highlighting the Most High's ways are higher than ours. But go ahead.
For there may be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of AHAYAH that is set before them. For AHAYAH hath given straight commandment to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him, and imagined vain things.
So, people are quick to mock things, especially when you come in from a biblical perspective. All they see is the tip of the iceberg, but they're not seeing what's under the water. You know what I mean? And that iceberg is much bigger than it seems. But go ahead.
And deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways.
Knew not his ways, right? Because they would know that he operates with the less. The less is more, right? Go ahead.
But his law have they despised, and denied his covenants, and his statutes have they not been faithful, and have not performed his works. For therefore, Esdras, for the empty are empty things, and for the full are the full things. Behold, the time shall come that these tokens which I have told thee shall come to pass, and the bride shall appear, and she cometh forth shall be seen, that now is withdrawn from the earth. And whosoever is delivered from the foresaid evil shall see my wonders.
Okay, so whoever is delivered shall see his wonders, right? The question is, will everybody be delivered, right? We already know that the majority will be destroyed, right? But go ahead.
For my son Yasha shall be revived. For my son Yasha shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years.
Okay, so wisdom will be given to a selective few, and that wisdom will allow these people to be preserved in these last times, right? It's there for everybody to grab, but not everybody is even acknowledges it as something that's useful to them. You know what I mean? A lot of people look at it as a waste of time, right? But, in the end, it'll be shown. So we went there just to show that wisdom is given to a selective few. right? And that wisdom would deliver a lot of people, though that same selected few, from the fury of the Most High. We're going to go to Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 1. All right. Keep in mind, we're going here because it's highlighting the nativity of Israel, right? Remember, less is more. Okay, he's not dealing with every nation like that, right? He didn't choose every nation to be his particular people, right? According to the Bible, not according to me. Ezekiel 16 and 1, and we're going to read through verse 14.
Okay. Again, the word of the higher power came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations, and say thus, saith the Lord, AHAYAH, unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan, and thy father is an Amorite, and thy mother an Hittite. And as for thy nativity, in the day thou wast born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to supple thee.
Right.
Thou was not salted withal, Salakia. Thou was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all. None I pitied thee to do any of these unto thee, to have compassion upon thee, but thou wast cast out in the open field to the loathing of thy person in the day that thou was born. And when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted in thy own eyes, so like in thy own blood, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. Yeah, I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxen great.
Okay, so he could have chose a nation that didn't need to be multiplied, that was already multiplied, right? But what did he do? Right, he chose his particular people and multiplied this people, right? But go ahead.
And thou art come to excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thy hair is grown, whereas thou was naked and bare. Now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love, and I spread my skirt over thee, and covered thy nakedness. Yeah, I swear unto thee, and entered into the covenant with thee, said the higher power AHAYAH, and thou becamest mine.
And became as his, right? Keep going.
Then washed I thee with water. Yeah, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil. I clothed thee also with bordered work, and shod thee with badger skin, and I girded thee about with fine linen, and I covered thee with silk. I decked thee also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon thy hands, and a chain on thy neck, and I put a jewel on thy forehead, and earrings in thy ears, and a beautiful crown upon thy head. Thus was thou decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen and silk and bordered work. Thou didst eat fine flour and honey and oil, and thou was exceedingly beautiful, and thou didst prosper into a kingdom.
Okay, so he took this the nativity of this people that was low and few in number and basically at the borderline of death, and he nurtured them into something extravagant. You see what I'm saying? Less is more, right? Let's get verse 14.
And thy renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty, for it was perfect through my comeliness, which I had put upon thee, said the higher power AHAYAH.
Okay, so he chose something of a low estate and made it the most glorious thing amongst the heathen, right? amongst all these other nations that was not chosen to be his selected, right? And that's in Amos 3:2. I could pull out the scripture, but for time's sake, I'm not going to. I'll read it just because. I'm gonna just read it, just showing when we're talking about the nativity of Israel. We talking about him handpicking these people. Okay, so I'm going to Amos 3:2. We could get Deuteronomy 7:6. All right, so I'm gonna just read this real quick, just for edification's sake. So Amos 3:1, I'm gonna start. It says, "Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities." Again, less is more. All right. So he didn't choose everybody. He chose one out of many. All right. And he strengthened and exalted this people, okay, to be his. All right. So we're going to go to Deuteronomy 7:6.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. "For thou art an holy people unto thy higher power, thy AHAYAH."
Right.
For, Salakia, the higher power, thy AHAYAH, hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Okay, we just read that as well in Amos 3:1 through verse 2. Go ahead, verse 7.
"The higher power did not set his voice, Salakia, did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number."
Read that again.
"The higher power did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people."
We're the what?
The fewest of all people.
Okay, less is more, right? And we seen what he did in Ezekiel 16. We'll tell you that he took this small, minute situation and blew it up to the glory of the world, through his power, under his spirit, under his covering. Less is more. All right? All praises to the Most High. We're going to drop down to verse 14 in the same chapter.
Verse 14. "Thou shalt be blessed above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you, or among your cattle."
Okay, so in other words, not only is he going to exalt his people, but he's also going to make them fruitful, right? So started off small, but through the Spirit of the Most High and through his glory, he allows it to be extravagant, okay? We're going to go to Isaiah 45:17, okay? Long story short, man, don't watch numbers. Numbers don't really mean anything. It's more so about the quality of the situation, right? And if once we're in line with the Most High, he's going to bless it. You got it? Isaiah 45:17.
"But Israel shall be saved in the higher power with everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end."
Read that one more time.
"But Israel shall be saved in the higher power."
Okay, so hold on. So we talking about Israel, right? The 12 tribes of Israel. Keep going.
"With an everlasting salvation."
So we talking about salvation in the end, right? Go ahead.
"Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded."
Right.
"World without end."
So look at this. We looked at the nativity of the children of Israel. We seen in Deuteronomy 7:6, where he says he didn't choose us because we were more in number. We were actually the fewest in number. And the Most High has put his glory upon this people. And then look here, he in Isaiah 45:17, he's calling Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, a world without end. It's a world within itself, a world within the whole world. Which gives even more understanding when you read John 3:16, and it talks about Yasha giving his life, for the world. it's actually talking about Israel, right? Just for edification, just to bring it out, so that way we hammer it down. I'm gonna go to Matthew 15. I think it's 24, 15, and I'm gonna just read this real quick. I got it.
Go ahead.
This is Matthew 15 and 24, and it reads, "But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel." According to Isaiah 45 and 17, Israel is a world without end. So it is a world within the world. Okay? Less is more. All right?
Just like you got third world countries.
Right. So, in this time right now, according to Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. When we in a lot of these places, they frown upon us, look at us kind of strange. But in reality, we are fewer in number amongst the heathen. But the strength of the Most High makes our quality much stronger than the quantity of people around. You see what I'm saying? And it's a big deal. It's a big deal. That's why, a lot of times when Yasha is around, our spirit is felt. You know what I mean? You don't even really have to do too much. It's already felt because of the spirit of the Most High upon his people. He has put his glory upon us, even though right now, we got to get back to these laws and commandments and get ourselves right. But he has not forsaken his people. Okay? And again, I'm using Yasharala as an example. Let's get John 3:16, just also to edify on that Isaiah 45 and 17, where it say, "But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with the everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end." Okay, so Israel is a world without end. So when you read John 3:16, it's actually this is the world that he's talking about. Go ahead.
For AHAYAH so loveth the world.
So what world, right? According to Isaiah 45 and 17, the world of Israel, the Israelites is considered a world without end. Go ahead.
That he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
And with that same scripture, we get Yasha saying the same exact thing out of his own mouth in Matthew 15 and 24, right? And it reads right here, "But he answered and said," this is red letter, "I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel." Okay, less is more. The whole world is not the lost sheep of Israel. Okay, the 12 tribes is the lost sheep of Israel. Those that don't even know who they are, right? Those that are scattered abroad. Okay, and just showing again, less is more. All right. Notice in this world they call us minorities, but according to the Bible, we are the apple of the Most High's eyes, the creator of the heaven and earth. Okay? So, just think about that. I'm going to go to... and then we also read Deuteronomy 7 and 14, where he's highlighting that he will increase us. Okay? Alright? We don't always have to jump the gun. Most High, he's taking care of all things. So, 1 second here. I'm going to go to Proverbs 20 and 24. And this is what I enjoy about this study too, is because in the future there's going to be times where we're going to be outnumbered in certain situations. And I pray that through this study people start to realize that it's not about the number. It's more so about the spirit. It's more so about the heart. It's more so about the will.
Unwavering faith.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Strong faith in the Most High, right? So let's get Proverbs 22 and 24. 22? Slakia. It's 20 and 24. Sorry about that.
It reads as, "Man's goings are of the higher power.
Uh-huh.
How can a man then understand his own way?
Right? So if the Most High say forward march, and you like, oh my gosh, but there's, they have a whole platoon of military forces over there, or nah, they outnumbered. I can't do it. It says man's goings are of the Lord. So if you are being led by the Spirit of the Most High, how can a man then understand his own way? Right? If the Most High say move, then we gotta move. It don't matter. Don't watch the number. Okay? But go ahead, verse 25.
It is a snare to the man who devoureth that which is holy.
So if you take up this righteous thing that the Most High set up for us, right? You take up the covenant of the Most High. Go ahead.
And after vows to make inquiry.
Okay, go ahead. So basically, that's like taking up the covenant, right? Getting baptized and doing all the righteous stuff that the Most High say for us to do, and then questioning why you did it, or questioning, because when you go under the water, you are vowing to the Most High to be His, to be His servant and to make Him your God. You're vowing to be committed to the Most High. So it's not a good thing to question it. No different from if the Most High tells us to do something, fretting over the number and stuff like that. If you look at what happened with Moses and so forth, and our forefathers in the wilderness, when they questioned the Most High, it didn't turn out good. You know what I'm saying? So just highlighting that it is a snare to the man who devoureth that which is holy, and after vows to make inquiry. Okay? So, you dedicate unto the Most High, follow Him. Follow His lead and just listen to what He has for us in store. We're going to go to Proverbs 15 and 16. Proverbs 15 and 16.
Reads as, better is little with the fear of the higher power, that great treasure and trouble therewith. Okay, so better is little with the fear of the Lord. So you're better off having nothing and fearing the Most High than great treasure and trouble therewith. Right? So if you don't fear the Most High, you are in trouble. You see what I'm saying? So again, highlighting less is more. Right? It's better to not have a whole bunch of stuff but fear the Most High than to have abundance of things and have no fear of the Most High. You see what I'm saying? Less is more. I'm going to get a precept. Let's go to Sirach 19 and 22. Ecclesiasticus 19 and 22. I got you right here. All right. All right. So this is a precept to Proverbs 15 and 16. Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasures and trouble therewith. So now we're going to go to Ecclesiasticus 19 and 22. 19 and 22. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom.
Right.
Neither at any time of counsel of sinners prudence.
Okay. So the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. Right. Again, better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasures and trouble therewith. So, you got people that know all type of stuff, how these sorcerers do this, or all kind of Masonic hand signs and all kind of, oh yeah, this song playing backwards to say this and all kind of stuff. According to the scriptures, it says the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. Wow. That doesn't get you in cahoots with the Most High, right? But if you know enough to fear the Most High, like fear God with all your heart and soul, fear him enough to keep his commandments, that is better than knowing all kind of knowledge of wickedness, right? Less is more. It says the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. So, it's better for 2 or 3 gather, Christ is in the midst, than a whole gang of people that ain't even dealing with the Most High, and building together. That it's unfruitful. You see what I'm saying? It's more fruitful just for 2 people to come together in Christ's name. Right? Less is more. All right. We're going to stay in the Apocrypha. We're going to go to Ecclesiasticus 41:8. Okay. Again, the title of this study, Less is More. 41:8.
Book Ecclesiastes 41:8. Woe be unto you, ungodly men, which have forsaken the law of the Most High.
Right. They have forsaken the law of the Most High, right? Go ahead.
For if ye increase, it shall be to your destruction.
Less is more, right? So if ye increase, it shall be unto your destruction.
Thank you.
Okay? The ungodly increase unto their destruction. All right? We read Proverbs 15:16. It says, better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasures and trouble therewith. All right? So the ungodly increase onto their destruction. Less is more. All right? 1 second here. We're going to go to Proverbs 19:23.
And read Book of Proverbs 19:23 reads as, the fear of the higher power tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide safely.
Okay, go ahead.
Shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil.
Okay, the fear of the Lord tendeth to life, right? Remember, better is little, okay, with the fear of the Most High. The fear of the Lord tendeth to life, right? So if you fear the Most High, you're going to be more focused on the smaller things in life, right, than all these extravagant things that really mean nothing, right? Remember, the ungodly increase to their destruction, okay? The fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. All praises to the Most High. Why? Because less is more. Right? It says here, he shall not be visited with evil. Right? All praises to the Most High. We're going to go to the Apocrypha, 2nd Esdras 7:41. Right?
When is that 40, right?
7:41.
Oh, 7. Okay. Second Ezra, chapter 7, verse 41. Even so now, seeing corruption is grown up and wickedness increased.
Wickedness increased, right? Go ahead.
And the righteous have prayed for the ungodly. Wherefore shall it not be so now also? Keep going.
Let me see. Yeah, we're going to keep going to verse 43.
Okay. He answered me and said, this present life is not the end, where much glory doeth abide. Therefore, have they prayed for the weak?
Right, so we are called to pray for the weak. Right? Pray for the weak. Keep going.
But the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. Keep going.
Okay, so let me see real quick. So verse 41, it says, even so now, seeing corruption is grown up and wickedness increased. Right? We read earlier, the ungodly increase onto their destruction. Right? So what's going on there? Notice that the people that are trying to walk right with the Most High, that's seeking out righteousness, is less than those that don't care. Right? Again, less is more. So look what he says for the less to do. The people that are striving to be what he's called us to be, he tells us to pray for these people, for this majority of people that are, going aside from what the Most High said for us. Where we at here?
2.
It says, even so now, 2nd Esdras 7:41, even so now, seeing corruption is grown up and wickedness increased, and the righteous have prayed for the ungodly. Right? So we know that many are called, but few are chosen. So that lets us know that the ones that are supposed to be praying are fewer than those that could care less. Right? It says, where we at here? Pray for the ungodly. Wherefore shall it not be so now also? So that's something that we should be doing now as well, right? It says, he answered me and said, this present life is not the end where much glory doeth abide. Therefore have they prayed for the weak. So we are also called to pray for the weak as well, right? The Most High builds us up spiritually strong to fight this battle, but the prayer of a righteous man availeth much, right? So we're gonna keep on going. Where we at here? That's fine. One second. All right, we're going to go to Job 9:24, right?
Nine 24.
Come.
The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked.
The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? So that's why he's telling the people that are seeking out the laws and commandments of the Most High to pray for the weak, right? They're spiritually weak because they're just following blindly the ways of this wicked world, which is given into the hands of the wicked. Go ahead.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
Come.
If not, where and who is he?
Okay, let's get James 4:4. Again, the title of this study is Less is More. Okay. James chapter 4, verse 4. All right.
Ye adulterers and adulteress, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with AHAYAH?
Okay, read that again.
For ye adulterers and adulteress, how ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with AHAYAH?
Okay, so the friendship of the world is enmity, is enemies with the Most High, right? So if less is more, right, and the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, and the prayers of the righteous man availeth much, these things are all pointing towards something, right? The particular, you can't really look at number. A lot of people have this kind of mentality, oh, well, everybody else is doing it, so it got to be right. No, that's not particularly true. That's far from the truth. You see what I'm saying? The Bible tells us to keep the dietary laws, keep the Shabbat, do these things, right? But a lot of times, people might not do those things. You'd have, family members that might be in the Christian churches, right? And they might not see that as a big deal. However, it's in the same Bible that they read, right? And these kind of things is what separate, what the Most High, is setting up amongst the people. Okay. The thing too is, we have to pray for one another. We have to pray for one another, man, because we all need those prayers. Less is more, man. 2 or 3 gather, Christ is in the midst. You could have a building, you could go in Walmart and it'd be packed with people and not one of them pray to the Most High. I'm just giving an example. And then you have 2 people that understand the law, the laws and commandments, to the best of our ability, and we strive to keep these things as perfect as possible. There's more strength amongst those 2 people in that whole store. Right? But the human eye is not trained to understand those kind of things, or the human brain, the fleshly brain, right? But your spirit, your subconscious understands that very strong, right? But anyway, read that one more time, James 4:4.
Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with AHAYAH?
Okay.
Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world.
A friend of the world, right? So remember, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Salaki.
4:4, James 4:4.
One more time.
Yeah.
Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with AHAYAH? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of AHAYAH. Okay. So don't go chasing down friends neither. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, this is my buddy. Me and my buddies, they they telling me to come down to the bar on Saturday night. You know what I mean? Man, all my fellas is gonna be there. There's more strength in your home keeping that Shabbat than at that bar. All your boys. You know what I'm saying? Just highlighting these kind of things, man. All decisions are crucial in this walk, man. It all matters. We're going to go to Deuteronomy 32 and 28. Right? And this goes for within the Yasharala community too, man. Because a lot of people look at, numbers. Oh, 1,000 people, fellowshipping over here and fellowshipping over there. That don't really mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the fruit. It's all about the fruit. Because just because it might be a super large congregation, that doesn't necessarily mean that things is operating properly or being dealt with in the right spirit. You know what I'm saying? Just highlighting the facts. Throughout the whole Bible, you will constantly see a reoccurring theme. Less is more. You constantly see that. Look at when Yasha was walking the earth and was talking to all these people, right? And then you'll see he would basically some water out.
Yeah.
Salaki.
Yasha would basically be preaching to all these people. And then the minute he says something that they don't like, they just start walking off. You know what I mean? Again, and whoever was left there you go. Less is more. All right, it boils down to the same thing. So I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 32 and 28. All right? And it reads, "For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. right? But when you're talking about the Most High's people that are seeking out wisdom and understanding, that is a small number compared to those who can care less. The less is more. Right? Verse 29. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. That is the more potent portion. Right? Verse 30, it says, how should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them, and the Lord had shut them up. Right? So through the Spirit of the Most High, it doesn't matter if it's Albert Einstein. If he's not dealing with this truth, there is no strength there. Period. You know. Look how it says one would chase 1,000. Okay? One chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight. Okay? Less is more. Right here. Alright? So, a nation void of understanding. That's why those that are friends with the world are enmity against the Most High. Alright? Let's go. We're going to go to the Apocrypha. We're going to go to Ecclesiasticus 27:1. You know, there's a lot of peer pressure out there. You know, people making you feel like things is okay because everybody else is doing it, like I mentioned before. That's a snare. It's a snare, and it's a very dangerous thing, and we're going to see why right now. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus 27:1. How many people are stopping to tell people, nah, you probably shouldn't do that? Right? That's where the strength is.
I did
right?
that today.
Yeah. All praises to the Most High. That's where the strength is. You know, when you got people around you that A-OK everything you do and don't say anything about anything, like nothing is ever wrong, you should really question that.
That's also that secret love. You really hate that person.
Yeah, that's not love, man. That's.
Or you smiling in their face to keep the peace, and you don't want to reproof them.
Yeah.
You know, which is a sin on your part.
Yeah, let's get it. Ecclesiasticus 27:1.
Many have sinned for a small matter,
Mm-hmm.
and he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away.
Read that again.
Many have sinned for a small matter.
For a small matter, right? The simplest thing. Oh, that's my buddy, right? Or that's my wife. Or we're gonna keep Halloween for the kids, right? Look, that's another good example. Less is more. How many of you guys are gonna be at home on Halloween while everybody else is trick or treating? Those that are at home, that's where the strength is. Less is more. But go ahead, read that again. Huh?
Many have sinned for a small matter, and he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away.
He that seeketh for abundance, whether it's abundance of money, turn your eyes away. You're willing to get bribed and condone sin for something in return. That's what that is saying. Read that one more time.
Many have sinned for a small matter.
For a small matter. So you would toss away salvation for a couple dollars, or for £1 from your boy, or to put a smile on your child's face. The Bible say train up a child in the ways they should go. Right? Or just to, I guess to please your wife at the moment. Like, all those things is off. Read that again, Art.
Many have sinned for a small matter.
Mm-hmm.
And he that seeketh for abundance
seeketh for abundance, right? Abundance of friendships, abundance of money, promotions, all these kind of things, right? You got to be mindful. He'll do what?
Will turn his eyes away.
Okay? So he'll turn his back on the truth for abundance of whatever it is that he wants, right? But less is more. You don't need it that bad. You know what I'm saying? At least in my mind, that's a good way to think. We in the book of Sirach. We're going to go to Ecclesiasticus 34:24.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 34, verse 24. When one prayeth and another curseth, whose voice will the higher power hear? He that washeth himself after the touching of a dead body, if he touch it again, what availeth his washing?
Right. So if you got two people complaining to the Most High, who is he going to hear? Right? It's going to answer that. Go ahead.
So it is with a man that fasteth for his sins.
Fasted for his sins. So we all fall short, right? We are all supposed to be fasting. Anytime we sin against the Most High in any kind of way, you definitely want to send up a fast, right? And look what fasting does. Fasting, less is more. You stop eating more, you start eating less, and you build up more spirituality. Less is more. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When you look at the Bible, you're going to always see that same reoccurring theme. Time and time again. Less is more. Right? When you fast, you're putting away a whole bunch of stuff and trying to build on your spiritual side. But go ahead, read verse 26 again.
So it is with a man that fasteth for his sins, and goeth again, and doeth the same, who will hear his prayer. Or what doeth his humbling profit him? Right.
So you see, pretty much when it comes down to it, man, we supposed to turn away from these things. More discipline and sin less. You know what I mean? That's how it has to be, man. Less sin, more discipline. Let's go to Matthew chapter 10 verse 15. All right.
Matthew 10 and 15.
Yeah, don't watch the crowd, man. Don't watch the crowd. That is smoke and mirrors. Matthew 10 and 15.
Reads as.
And we're going to read down all the way down to 22.
Alright. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. Behold, I sent you forth.
You in 10?
Yeah. 10 and 15.
Okay. Stop it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Behold, I sent you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. Right. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. For a testimony against them and the Gentiles. For when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. Okay, so do less thinking, right? Go ahead. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. All praises to the Most High. So by allowing the Spirit to move and you decreasing yourself, you increase in the Spirit by letting the Spirit move through you. Go ahead. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the child shall rise up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be naked of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. Okay, so you also see that family and cities will turn against us, right? For this very same thing, this truth, right? Which shows less is more, man. It's look what Yasha said when Mary and his brother came. He said his family are those that keep the commandments of the Most High. Now, let me ask you this. How much people out of your family is doing that? And you see the less is more, exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Those are rare jewels.
it's a blessing to meet this brother and my other brothers and stuff like that, my sisters and stuff like that, man, because all praises to the Most High, we are one and the same by the Most High allowing our understanding to be opened up. It's a rare thing. It's a rare thing. And, you know, to me, let's get Zephaniah 2:1 real quick, right? To me, this is one of the main reasons why it's so important for us to stay in contact and stay together with one another, because it's such a rare thing to come across people of understanding. You know what I mean? Zephaniah 2:1. I get it. I got it right here.
All right. The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yeah, gather together, O nation, not desired.
O nation not desired, right? So if the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, what will make this nation not desired? It's because according to the book of Peter's, the Most High set us up to be a peculiar nation. Peculiar is rare. Okay? Less is more. You know? So, you know, we're going to keep it going. We are going to go to Revelation 11:8.
The book of Revelations, chapter 11, verse 8, reads as, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Okay, so this is what's going to be happening in this place, right? That's just showing you how much more we need to be locking in together, because we're going to need each other to keep that light burning bright. You see what I'm saying? And I came here because this is what's going to happen according to the scriptures that we read in Matthew 15:22, where it talk about families and cities will turn against us. You know what I mean? And they'll turn against us to put us to death. You see what I'm saying? And why is that? Because we are the apple of the Most High's eye. You know what I mean? But we gotta, you know, it's really important that we stick together, man. You know, don't watch numbers. More so watch the quality of what's around you. You know? Let's go to Deuteronomy 7:9 through 11. You know, we read about the scriptures that talk about a spiritual war, but we are not fighting this war by ourselves. The Most High fights before us. And because we love Him, and because we understand that we are to walk the way Yasha walked, and we love Him as well, we have become targets against this wicked world, right? Let's get verse 9 through 11.
Because the higher power loves you, and because He would keep the oath which He has sworn unto your fathers, hath the higher power brought you out of the mighty hand.
And you're at Deuteronomy 7:9?
Yeah.
I'll read something.
I started a little bit earlier than that.
7:9.
7:9. Salakia. Know therefore that the higher power, the AHAYAH, He is AHAYAH, the faithful
You know what?
AHAYAH.
You can start from verse 8 because the spirit was moving on there, bro.
Because the higher power loved you, and because He would keep the oath which He has sworn unto your fathers.
He didn't give that oath to everybody. Go ahead.
Have the higher power brought you out of the mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Know therefore that the higher power, the AHAYAH, He is AHAYAH, the faithful AHAYAH, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love Him and keep His commandments to 1,000 generations, and repayeth them that hate Him for their face to destroy them.
Wait. That hate them to their face.
Like it.
Yep.
And repay them to that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face.
Right? So who are those that hate him? Right? The same ones that hate his people, that worship him the way he tells us to, the best that we can. You see what I'm saying? So, this is just showing what's going on here, right? Less is more. So, yeah, we might be outnumbered in many situations, but we got the Most High on our side. Don't watch that number. You know what I mean? And the Most High said he going to repay them to their face. Wow. It's a terrible thing to fall into the hands of the Lord. Let's get verse 11.
Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments.
Wait, say that again.
Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments.
That allow the Most High to be your bodyguard. Keep going.
And the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day to do them.
To do them, right? Not to act as if they're not there or like we don't have to do it, but to do them, right? Let's go to Genesis 18 and 16. Again, the title of this study is Less is More.
The book of Genesis, chapter 18, verse 16. And the men rose up from thence and looked toward Sodom. And Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And the higher power said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, shall all sinning that Abraham shall surely become a great nation, become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I know him that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Adon.
Right, so basically he going to turn Abraham into a mighty nation. Keep going.
To do justice and judgment, that the higher power may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. And the higher power said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous,
right,
and will go down now and seek whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, right, which is come unto me. And if not, I will know. And the men turned their face from thence and went towards Sodom, but Abraham stood steady fast.
Right, keep going.
Oh, I lost my track.
You start from 22.
And the men turned their faces from thence and went towards Sodom, and Abraham stood yet before the higher power, and Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city, wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein?
Right, and look at the response that the Most High gives, showing that less is more. Like I said, this is a recurring theme throughout the Bible. Go ahead. That
be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and the righteous should be as the wicked. That be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all things, shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And the higher power said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sake.
Now, is that not an example of the less being more? He says within a whole city, if he finds 50 men that is righteous, he will spare the whole city on behalf of 50 men. Less is more, right? Keep going, huh?
And Abraham answered and said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto the higher power, which am but dust and ashes. Peradventure there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy all the city for its lack of 45? I will not destroy it. And Abraham and he spake unto him yet again and said, Peradventure there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for the 40's sake.
Look at the numbers getting smaller and smaller. And as the number continues to get smaller, the strength of those people will be saved by the smallest number that is coming out here. You see what I'm saying? He went from 50 to 45 to 40, and he keeps going down. And the Most High is like, you know what? Well, if there's this amount of people, then I'll spare them. Right? Go ahead.
And he spake unto them. And he spake unto him yet again and said, Peradventure there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for the 40's sake. And he said unto him, O let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Peradventure there shall 30 be found. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, Behold, I have taken upon me to speak unto the higher power. Peradventure there shall be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for the 20's sake. And he said, O let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak yet but this once. Peradventure 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake.
Right.
And the high power went his way as soon as he had left communing with Abraham. And Abraham returned unto his place.
Okay. So this is super powerful, right? Because look at this. What happens there is Abraham was reasoning with the Most High and asking him, well, what if 40 people? What if 30 people? What if, you know what I mean? Going lower and lower. But in reality, if you really look at it, look at what's really going on there, right? This is such a powerful example of less being more. All those people would have been saved on behalf of one man speaking to the Most High, which was really Abraham. You see that? Was about to be able to spare the whole city if the Most High was able to find 50 righteous men, 40 righteous men, 35 righteous men. You see what I'm saying? And that's just showing you that was all behalf of off the strength of one man reasoning with the Most High. Through the beautiful power of communication. You know what I'm saying? So again, less is more. We're gonna go to Luke 5 and Luke 15 and 4, and then from there, got probably about 8 more. Yeah, 8 more after that. Luke 15 and 4. Less is more.
The book of Luke, chapter 15, verse 4. What man of you shall have 100 sheep? If he lose one of them, doeth not leave the 99 in the wilderness, and go after that which is lost until he find it? And when he hath found it, be layeth it on his shoulders, rejoicing.
God.
And when he cometh home. And when he cometh home, he called together his friends and neighbors, saying unto them, Rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep which was lost.
Mm-hmm.
I say unto you that likewise joy shall be in the heaven over 160. See, yeah, that's the age difference. I say unto you that likewise joy shall be in heaven over the seven. Over the Salakia. I say unto you that likewise joy shall be in heaven over one sinner that repenteth more than over 99 just persons, which need no repentance.
Right? So he rejoicing over the one more than the 99. Right? Again, less is more. Right? Just showing the power in the so-called few. Right? Go ahead. You're going to read down to verse 10. So we have verse 9 right now.
I'm at 8 right now.
Okay.
Either what woman have 10 pieces of silver, if she lose one piece, doeth not light a candle, and sweep the house, and seek diligently till she find it?
Mm-hmm.
And when she hath found it, she called her friends and her neighbors together. I have found peace which I had lost. Likewise, I say unto you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of AHAYAH, one over sinners that repenteth.
Okay. So there's joy. We are to rejoice over the one more than over the many. You see what I'm saying? The many that don't need the same thing that the one needs. That makes it more important. You know what I mean? All praises to the Most High. Rejoice over the one. Again, the title of the study is Less is More. We're going to go to Proverbs 11 and 3. Proverbs 11 and 3. You got light? You got good enough light over there?
Yeah, it's 11:23.
11 and 3.
11:3. The book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 3. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. Which profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. The righteousness of the perfect shall indirect his own.
No, it's just 3 and 4.
Okay.
So it says, the integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. Less is more. It's not about the money. It's not about the abundance of things. None of that can get you into the kingdom. It's more about the simplicity, about the simple things of rejoicing over the one. 2 or 3 gather, Christ is in the midst. There's a lot of power in the few. Right? Let's go to the Apocrypha. We're going to go to Ecclesiasticus 31 and 16.
The book of Ecclesiastes 31 and 16.
And we're going to read down all the way down to verse 23.
Okay. Eat as it becometh a man who things which are set before thee,
right,
and devour not, lest thou be hated.
Okay. So pretty much these scriptures are lining up. They touching on being selfless, right? Less is more, right? Putting somebody before yourself. And, be worried about you less and other people more. Right? Go ahead.
Let us first. Hold on, I'm gonna start. So,
Verse 17.
Leave off first, for manners' sake, and be not unsatiable, lest thou offend.
Don't be greedy. Go ahead.
When thou sittest among many, reach not thy hand out first of all.
Okay, so put yourself behind. Let other people go. It's just like holding the door. Right? Go ahead.
A very little of sufficient for a man well nurtured, and he fetched not his wind short upon his bed.
Keep going.
Sound sleep cometh of moderate eating. He riseth up early, and his wits are with him. But the pain of watching and shoulder and pangs of the belly are with an insatiable man. For if thou hast been forced to eat, arise and go vomit, and thou shalt have rest.
So in other words, it's showing you not to be greedy. You know what I mean? Be selfless, right? Don't always be rushing to do everything first, or be, you know what I mean, putting yourself before everybody else, right? Go ahead. And don't be greedy. Leave something for other people. Basically, is what it's telling you, right? But go ahead, because less is more. Go ahead.
My son, hear me, and despise me not, and at the lack thou shalt find, as I told thee. And in all thy works be quick.
All thy works be quick. Go ahead.
So shall there no sickness come unto thee.
Right.
Whoso is liberal of his meat.
So who is liberal of his food? Go ahead.
Men shall speak well of him.
Men shall speak well of him. Why? Because he makes sure that the women and children eat first, Any guests, he makes sure that they are taken care of, right? Go ahead.
Whoso is liberal of his meat, men shall speak well of him, and the report of his good housekeeping will be believed.
All praises to the Most High, right? Be selfless, okay? Let's go to don't be greedy. I got more on that. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus 33 and 16 through 17.
I waked up last of all, as one had gathered after the photographers by the blessings. Bruh.
I got you, bro. Hold on.
I apologize, man.
No, don't worry. I know you're tired, bro.
I'm talking to everybody out there that's watching, like, man, he messing up all of it. Look at them hearts. I'm
Praise
sleepy,
the Most High, man.
I've been up for like 30 hours right
Praise
now.
The Most High. You still came here to help out with this, man.
You feel me? Help my brother.
I got you.
You
So, Sirach 33 and 16. Go ahead, bro. You get some rest, man. It reads, I awakened up last of all, as one that gathereth after the grape gatherers. By the blessing of the Lord I profited, and filled mine winepress, like a gatherer of grapes. Consider that I labored not for myself only. See? Be selfless, right? But for all them that seek learning. All praises to the Most High. All right? Just putting people before yourself, man. Thinking less about yourself and more of others. Right? Got a few more here. About 5 more. Let me see. Go to 2 Chronicles 6 and 6.
The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 6, verse 6. But I have chosen Jerusalem, that my name might be there, and have chosen David to be over my people Israel.
Okay, I just came here real quick just to show. This was actually a scripture that was from the earlier portion of the study, but I missed it, so I just wanted to bring it out. This is also showing that the Most High chose one city out of all cities worldwide to be His. Okay, less is more. All right, He didn't pick every city of the world and all that stuff. No, He picked one to be His city, and is what we know as Jerusalem. But back on track, Salaki, I just wanted to get that in there. We're going to Hebrews 11 and 24, right? Because we was talking about being selfless, right? And we're going to see a clear example of that with the prophet Moses. Hebrews 11 and 24 through 27.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 24. By faith, Moses, when he had come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of AHAYAH than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season, esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt.
Okay, so he was selfless. He was selfless. He is choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy pleasures of sin for a season. He could have been sitting right up there in the palace doing whatever it is, you know what I mean, figuring out, you know, stuffing his own belly. But he was more concerned with the people. Where we at, 26 or 27?
Yep, 26.
All right, go ahead.
For he had the respect unto the recompense of the reward. By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured, as seeing him who is invisible. Through faith he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood.
It's just at 27. That's
Okay.
it. The water, you know. So just highlighting, man, just showing how, you know, Moses turning his back on his royal position, you know, to be there with those that were considered less, you know. We're going to go to 1 Samuel 16 and 1. 1 Samuel 16 and 1. Again, the title of this study is Less is More. After this, I got a precept and 3 more scripts, and then we'll close it out.
16 and 1?
1 Samuel 16 and 1, yep. And we're going to read 1 through 13.
Okay. And the higher power said unto Samuel, How long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn with oil, and go. I will send thee to Jesse the
Bethlehemite.
The Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. And Samuel did. How can I go? If Saul hear it, he will kill me. And the high power said, Take an heifer with thee, and say, I am come to sacrifice to the high power. And call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show thee what thou shalt do. And thou shalt anoint unto me him. And I call, I'm going to start at 3 again. And I called Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will shew thee what thou shalt do, and thou shalt anoint unto me him who I name unto thee. And Samuel did that which the higher power spake, and came to Bethlehem, and the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, Comest thou peaceably?
Uh-huh.
And he said peaceably, I am come to sacrifice unto the Lord. Sanctify yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And he sanctified Jesse and his sons and called them to the sacrifice. And it came to pass, when they were come, that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the high power anointed is before him. Before the higher power said unto Saul, look not on his countenance,
Mm-hmm.
or on the height of his stature,
Right.
because I have refused him. For the higher power seeth not as man seeth.
Right.
For man looketh on the outward appearance.
Con, and that's what we was talking about earlier. Oh, well, you know, everybody's going to be there. You know, I might as well go too, you know. You know, and that's what people do, right? However, like we said in the beginning of the study, the Most High operates different. His ways are higher, right? But go ahead. So he's like, nah, this is not the guy that I'm looking for. Go ahead.
I'm gonna start at 7 all over. But the high power said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature,
Mm-hmm.
because I have refused him. For the higher power seeth not as man seeth.
Mm-hmm.
For man looketh on the inward appearance, but the AHAYAH looketh on the heart.
Con.
And Jesse called Abinadab. And Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, neither hath the high power chosen this.
Mm-hmm.
Then Jesse made Shema to pass by. And he said, neither hath the high power chosen this. Again, Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
And Samuel said unto Jesse, the high power hath not chosen these. And Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all thy children? And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest.
Yet the youngest, right? He's the least in age. Go ahead.
And behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. And he sent and brought him. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy and withal of a beautiful countenance,
Mm-hmm.
and goodly to look to. And the high power said, arise, anoint him, for this is he.
Mm-hmm.
Then Samuel took the horn of oil.
Notice Samuel didn't question the Most High like we was talking about earlier, but go ahead.
Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren.
Mm-hmm.
And the spirit of the higher power came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah.
Okay. Came here just to highlight, out of David's 7 brothers, he was the least in age and the least likely that they thought would be the one. And surely he was the one. Less is more. Right? We still in 1 Samuel. We're going to get a precept. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 14.
1 Samuel 17 and 14. And David was the youngest, and the 3 eldest followed Saul.
Okay? So David was the youngest of his siblings out of all 7 of his brothers. Alright? Less is more. We still in 1 Samuel. Drop down to, I was going to pull this out, but, we all familiar with the story of David and Goliath. You know what I mean? I was going to read 1 Samuel 17 and 34 through 54. You up to read that? If not,
Yep.
We all familiar with that. Go ahead.
You said start at what? 34?
1 Samuel
31?
chapter 17, verse 34.
34.
And we're going to read that down to 54.
All right. And David said unto Saul, Thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear and him out of the rock, out of the flock. And I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and his uncircumcised Philistine, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he had defiled the armies of the living AHAYAH.
So he's speaking about Goliath right there, right? We talking about the youngest out of all 7 of his brothers, speaking as a warrior against this giant. Go ahead.
David said, Moreover, the higher power that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, Go, and the higher power be with thee. And
now, keep in mind, Saul was the king. You know, he was also a mighty warrior. But look, it took young David to go out there to set it off. But go ahead.
And Saul armed David with his armor, and he put an helmet of brass upon his head. Also he armed him with a coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, and he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not proven them. And David put them off him, and he took his staff in his hand, and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook, and put them in the shepherd's bag which he had, even in the scrip, and his sling was in his hand. And he drew near to the Philistine, and the Philistine came, on the drew near unto David, and the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, and he was but a youth and ruddy. He was but a youth and ruddy, and of a fair countenance. And the Philistine said unto David, I am a dog, and thou comest to me with staves. And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. And the Philistine said to David, Come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air, and to the beasts of the field. Then said David to the Philistines, Thou comest to me with the shield, but I come to thee in the name of the high power of hosts, the AHAYAH of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defiled. This day will the high power deliver thee unto my hand, and I will smite thee and take thine head from thee, and I will go, and I will give the carcasses of the host to the Philistine this day unto not nothing I'm eating. And I will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a AHAYAH in Israel. And all this assembly shall know that the high power saveth, not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's,
Right.
and He will give you into your hands,
into
our hands.
Right.
And it came to pass when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, that David hasted and ran toward the army to meet the Philistine. And David put his girdle in his bag, and he took thence a stone and slang it and smote the Philistine in his forehead, that the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell upon his face to the earth.
So it says, and David put his hand in his bag and took thence a stone. So, David, the youngest of the sons of Jesse, running towards Goliath, this mighty warrior, right? Again, you see the same theme, less is more, right? And this is just showing, man, peer pressure, all those kind of things, don't always move with the crowd. Stand apart, be sanctified, right? Let's get, you could just get 50 just to end it right there.
So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him. But there was no sword in the hand of David.
There we go. Praise the Most High. So I got two more. We're going to go to Philippians 4:4 through 5. Philippians 4:4.
4 through 5. Book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 4. Rejoice in the high power always. And again I say rejoice.
Right.
Let your moderation be known unto all men.
Right.
The high power is at hand.
All praises to the Most High. So rejoice in the Most High always. You know what I mean? Don't worry about what it looks like. Don't worry about what people is going to think. Don't be fearful of what the outcome is going to be because you see a massive number against you, or people might not understand why you're doing certain things a certain way. Understand that the Most High deals with the less, because the less is more rare than the more. And a lot of times, the less gets exalted over the more. You see what I'm saying? So rejoice in the Most High always. Let your moderation be known. If you're not down with something, it's okay to say you're not down with it. You don't got to do it just because everybody else doing it. Just be mindful of all those things, right? Let's get in the same chapter. Let's get verse 11.
Okay.
We're going to read verse 11 through 13. Salakia.
I got you. Now that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, whether therewith to be content. I know both how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed, both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. I can do all things through Hamashiach Christ.
Okay, all praises to the Most High. That's the last one I got. And I'm going to read it one more time, man, just so that we can stick it home. Again, the title of this study is Less is More. And it reads, Philippians 4:11. Not that I speak in respect of want, right? For I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. Right? Remember, less is more. I know both how to be abased So how to be selfless, just like we read what Moses did, you know. And I know how to be abound. Okay, it says everywhere and in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry. So, in other words, you're going to have to be able to adjust. You know, it's not always things is going to be abundant, you know, and it's not all the time things are going to be, you know, less, you know. It says, I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to be both to abound and to suffer need. All praises to the Most High, right? Verse 13, I can do all things through Hamashiach which strengthen me. Okay? All praises to the Most High, because, you know, once he's fending for his people, you can't lose. You know, less is more. It's not always about quantity. It's not always about what everybody else is doing. Keep in mind, those that are friends with the world are enemies against the Most High. Because Job 9:24 lets us know that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. If you are rolling with the majority, understand you are most likely probably on the wrong side of the fence. You know? So with that, you know, the moral of this, man, is mainly to highlight it's not always about the abundance. The Most High deals with the least in numbers, and he makes it into the majority. You know, so with that, I want to wish everybody a blessed Shabbat.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.